This past week in Iron Banner, Lord Saladin gave me a gift that I have been looking for since I knew that it could drop with this. I got the Hero's Burden with destabilizing rounds, so I went ahead and made a Void Hunter build with it. Now, it's not what you think it would be if you've already seen the thumbnail, and we'll go over why I used what I used for that, but like, comment, and subscribe if you keep coming back for more. This Thursday, I'm actually going to be doing a live stream going through the Legend in full, trying to get my Vexcalibur just completely finished, which will be at roughly 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Thursday, 3 p.m. EST, I will be streaming right here on YouTube, so come on by. It'll be a great time. So let's get into this video, but first, a word from our sponsor. What I'll talk about is the exotic that I wore for this build, which is Omnioculus, which comes with the exotic perk Beyond the Veil. You gain a second smoke bomb charge and have damage resistance while invisible. When you make an ally invisible, they gain damage resistance while invisible, and you gain melee energy. Now, I know a lot of people will just say to wear Gerfalcons for this build, but hear me out. People wear Gerfalcons because of the volatile rounds it provides, but with mods off the artifact, we will have these volatile rounds just as much without using Gerfalcons, so we can take advantage of the bonuses from Omnioculus, such as cloaking allies, grants 50% melee energy back per ally made invisible, meaning you cloak 2 allies and you get a full charge of your smoke bomb back. While wearing Omnioculus, you get 50% damage reduction while invisible. Now, if you play Void Hunter often, you know that most ads really do not care that you're invisible and will still track you and shoot you until you get into cover. So this 50% reduction in damage will be helpful for those situations, and your allies you make invisible will also benefit from this. Something I also didn't know about this, however, is if you're wearing Omnioculus and you are made invisible by another Omnioculus hunter, you will gain 75% damage reduction instead of the 50, meaning that we can actually use this more in a team play environment over Gerfalcons. As for weapons, you can run whatever you want in your first slot, your kinetic slot, whether that be an Arbalest, or for me in the background gameplay, that would be Witherhoard. For your second slot, I highly recommend using that Hero's Burden from Iron Banner, as it can roll with destabilizing rounds, which final blows cause nearby targets to become volatile. This perk plays very well into this build, as it will give you the ability to spread volatile rounds before you do even anything else that we have going on in this build. However, if you don't have this weapon or this role, any void weapon will work very well with this build. As for heavy, again, use whatever you want. I prefer using LMGs, as this is a more of an ad clear build. However, in higher end content, LMGs don't really hold up as much as you wish they would. Now for our artifact, we're going to run Grenade and Void Authorization mod unlocks. This makes our Void and Grenade mods cheaper. This will allow us to stack these particular mods, taking advantage of increased effects that they will give us. We're also going to go ahead and unlock Shatter Orbs. The first time you break a combatant shield, you create an orb of power if you break the shield with the matching damage type. I have slept on this mod all season, and I actually didn't realize I had it active when I was getting the footage you see in the background. Anytime I would break the Void Minotaur shield, it would drop an orb and feed into all the stuff that I had going on, which was super nice to have. Also, it says the first time you break the shields, but I would get an orb even after they had regenerated their shields. I'm sure this is a bug, but I'm going to take full advantage of this. Next, we're going to look at Volatile Flow. Picking up an orb of power grants your Void weapons volatile rounds. With this one mod, we eliminate the need or necessity to run Gerfalcons, as this mod will give us these volatile rounds anytime we pick up an orb, and in combination with Shatter Orbs and our armor mods, we're going to have an almost never-ending supply of orbs to get these volatile rounds. Bricks from Beyond. Defeating a powerful combatant with a Void weapon has a chance to generate heavy ammo for you or your teammates. We're going to be running mostly Void weapons with this build, so getting the chance at additional heavy ammo is nothing I would shy away from. And finally, Void Weapon Channeling. You gain temporary bonus to Void weapon damage after you defeat a target with a Void weapon while at least one of your Void abilities is fully charged. This damage bonus increases based on the number of fully charged Void abilities you have. This will make it so we don't have to run any Void weapon surge mods on our legs to increase our weapon damage, and with the mod setup we are running, we will have our abilities up pretty frequently to get the larger bonus from this particular artifact mod, and with double smoke charge from Omni, this will also play heavily into getting this higher bonus to our weapon damage, which again is very helpful in most situations. Moving on to our class setup. Our class setup is a very interesting mix of like a regular Omni build with a Gerfalcons build. The first thing we're going to look at is Trapper's Ambush. Activate Quickfall to spend your melee charge and dive to the ground, creating a large smoke cloud on impact, which then dissipates, targets caught in the smoke are weakened, and allies are made invisible. Your smoke bomb makes nearby allies invisible when it attaches to nearby surfaces or targets. This aspect will allow us to take better advantage of the support side of Omnioculus, allowing us to make allies invisible and give them that damage reduction, as well as allowing us to get our melees back. We're also going to look at Stylish Executioner. Defeating a weakened, suppressed, or volatile target grants invisibility and true sight. After performing a Stylish Execution, your next melee attack while invisible weakens targets. This build is designed around defeating volatile targets constantly from either destabilizing rounds or volatile flow, giving us the damage reduction from Omnioculus and making us invisible a solid 95% of the time. The first fragment we're going to look at is Echo of Cessation. Finisher final blows create a burst of void damage that causes nearby combatants to become volatile. Defeating volatile targets creates a void breach. This will help us spread the volatility with finishers, which will help in the higher end content, also making an absurd amount of void breaches to feed back into our class ability, as well as giving us Devour from Echo of Starvation. Picking up a void breach or an orb of power grants Devour with a -10 to recovery. The hit to recovery isn't really a big deal here, as we will be making a ton of orbs and breaches to feed into Devour, which will give us her health back as well as grenade energy at the same time. Finally, Echo of Expulsion. Void ability final blows cause targets to explode with a +10 to intellect. This is very nice just off the +10 to our intellect, plus any final blows we get with our grenades, smoke bomb, and even our super will cause an explosion, which will help with ad clearing. Now you can swap this out for any other fragment here, so let me know what you use instead of this. Moving on to the armor mods that we use to support this build. For our helmet, we're running Font of Wisdom. We'll gain a +30 bonus to our intellect stat while we have a stack of armor charge, and considering we'll be picking up a ton of orbs, we will have this pretty much at all times. If your intellect stack is already maxed, then you don't need to run this. Again, let me know what you use instead. Void Siphon. Getting rapid kills with our void weapons will drop us orbs. I ran 2 of these to increase the potency of the orbs we make in order to get more energy into our super, as well as the other mods we are running. For our arms, running Momentum Transfer. When we do damage with our grenades, it will reduce the cooldown on our melees, allowing us to throw more smokes and have a higher chance to get the high bonus from weapon channeling. Impact Induction. When we do damage with our melee, it will reduce the cooldown on our grenades. When I play this build, I tend to be very aggressive with Trapper's Ambush, dealing damage with the Quick Fall, thusly getting grenade energy back, and then finally Focusing Strike. Dealing damage with our melee will grant us class ability energy. Again, I play aggressively with these smoke bombs, so it worked great for me. However, you can easily change this out for Bolstering Detonation if you'd rather use your grenades to get your class ability energy instead. For our chest charged up, this will allow us to have more stacks of armor charge, allowing us to have Font of Wisdom active for longer when we don't have any orbs to pick up. I also ran Resist and Reserve mods, but you can swap these for whatever you need for your current activity or loadout. Legs, stacks on stacks. Picking up an orb will give us 2 stacks of armor charge, meaning we can hit the max of 4 now faster in order to get more out of our Font of Wisdom or whatever else you decide to run. Innervation and Installation. Picking up orbs will give us grenade and class ability energy back. Again, we're picking up a ton of orbs to help feed these mods. And finally, for our cloak, we're going to run Reaper. Getting a weapon final blow after using your class ability will produce an orb of power, meaning we can start an encounter with a dodge, get a weapon kill, pick up that orb to get Devour and Font of Wisdom to start working before we really get into the thick of whatever it is we're doing. We're also going to run Time Dilation. Decaying armor charge stacks now last longer. And a max of 4 stacks of armor charge, we have Font of Wisdom for a max of 40 seconds, 10 seconds per stack. With Time Dilation, we now have it for a max of 60, because now we have 15 seconds per stack when it starts to decay when we don't refresh it. While we are in combat, this will pretty much almost never decay because we're going to be picking up a ton of orbs to feed into all of our stuff. And finally, on our cloak, we are running Bomber. Using our class ability near targets will grant us grenade energy. Our class ability will already give us a full charge of our melee back, so we're going to use this to squeeze out just a little bit of extra grenade energy. With all of that though, that is the build. I had a ton of fun making this and using this. I ran it through like half of the Legend Avalon because I didn't have time to finish it. So again, this Thursday at 3 p.m. EST, I'm going to be running through that in its entirety in order to get my Vexcalibur completely finished, even though I probably will never use it. I'm a completionist. I like to have things done. So Thursday, come on by right here on YouTube. We'll be doing that stuff. So with that, hopefully you like the video. Comment down below, what you would change for this build for your own devices. And subscribe if you keep coming back. We've been doing really good with the support on this channel, and I love to see it. So with all that, I will see you guys in the next video.